Oh, all right, everybody. We are live. This is another episode of the Thre Warlocks Podcast. This is episode 23. This episode is special because it's going to be the rawest, unedited cut you will ever see. We've actually put on some makeup. We have some fancy new hats, nice beanie, Snail, and I believe Ness dropped some makeup on herself.
So she wants some lip gloss on.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Apparently, that's all you need to get right.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
This is a new episode for you guys, episode 23. It's not going to be a heavy hitting episode because the TWAB wasn't as meaty or thick as they have been in the past. A little bit of information, but we will be talking about that today. There's also a special Snail story time or lore corner where we're going to be breaking down the continuation of the story that we've been bringing you each and every week so far. There's a few things I want to get out of the way. I want to thank everybody who came into my stream. I streamed on Thursday. Some Destiny. I had a good time. First time doing it with a webcam, so it's a little different. As you can see, I'm still trying to work on the colors. I look like I'm being interrogated in a police station right now. So
this is what we see every day. He looks like he's hidden away under police protection.
Tap twice if you want me to call.
I know. I'm working with it. So each week it'll get better. Every Thursday I'll be doing that. Also, I'm going to talk about previous episode. I want to thank, I believe his name is east-west_disciple. He's a person on Twitter who slid into my DMs and told me to learn how to read because I kept saying hive captain versus a baby dragon, the little wyverns, and it was actually a taken captain. So yes, it was a taken captain, and you are totally right. The fact that I said that 6 times and I wasn't corrected by my panel of warlocks, it is the most hilarious thing ever.
We know what you're saying. We understand what you're talking about. It's really no reason.
You saying sparrow for ghost, so
I know.
It didn't make no difference to us. We were just like, it's normal.
The message from my brain to my mouth was not working.
I was saying glass vault for like the longest. You guys didn't even correct me.
But that's funny.
Yeah. That's standard.
Do we return to Shawhan?
I know. Shawhan too.
Whatever. That's his name now. John.
Man. And also, guys, we have a very special announcement at the end of the episode. So stick around. You guys, hopefully you guys will like what we have to say. Let's start with how was your guys' weeks? Do you have anything exciting happen to you guys?
That's a good question. I know you can't cut this out when there's that silence. So everybody goes, did we do anything?
Yeah, it's fine. It's raw. It's unedited. Let's go.
I've had a busy work week.
Yeah, it was work week. Yeah, It was a long work week.
I actually have a story I can share with you guys. In the beginning of the week, I decided to stop by this liquor store. It's in my hometown. Everybody talks about it. They're like, hey, you got to go to Rozzie's. You got to go to Rozzie's. They have one of the best beer selections ever. I'm like, okay, I haven't done it for months. So I decided to stop by there for the first time ever. I believe it was on Monday. And exactly what they said. It had a variety of beers and it's so much stuff that it's overwhelming. I've been trying to try different beers so I can get different, a palette for different tastes of stuff. So I found this 4-pack of beer that I liked. The picture was cool. It looked amazing. It's a 120-minute IPA. Dogfish Head makes it. Some weird ass company never heard in my life. So I go and pay this. So I put it in the counter and Rozzy, the guy says, whoa, bro. Baller, this beer, this 4-pack is $47, right?
Wow.
Dude, I had like a cold shiver on my back, and I was like, and I kind of like my knees kind of buckled. But the fact that there were so many people in that store, and they all turned around and looked at me, and then they were like, "Whoa, bro, you're gonna get that?" And then I looked at them, and I was like, "Yeah." Again, my credit card, so I can pay for it. I was like, own it. Oh, I know. Inside my head. And in my heart, I was like, no, what is it doing? But outside of me, I'm like, $47. I thought it was going to be cheaper than I thought it was more expensive.
Yeah.
4 beers, 4 12-ounce goddamn beers for $47. Guys, I haven't tried that beer. For the first couple of days, I didn't want to try it. I was so afraid of it. So last time I tried it, I shared a picture with Snail. I was like, hey, Snail, what do you think? He told me, man, those things are going to knock you out. Sure enough, one beer, 17%.
Oh my Lord.
Made me go to sleep. I just remember drinking, kind of sipping on it, because they do tell you like, hey, sip it, don't down it. I remember sipping it, and I got more and more relaxed. Sure enough, fell asleep. I tried to watch Snyder cut of
Oh my god,
Again?
the 4 hour
yes,
thing?
again. I fell asleep again. I fell asleep. I am progressively going forward every hour. So I think I'm in hour 3. So I will eventually finish that movie. So
Yeah, he's now not PlayStation rich. He's Dogfish rich.
I am Dogfish Rich. That's it.
Dogfish Rich.
Yeah,
That is the last
to con-
first and last time I we were going to do that. So
yeah. To continue my story from last week, so when we left me last week, we were waiting for the rugby to kick off.
yes, that's right.
And what was happening with Wales. So long story short, we lost in the last minute, which meant that France had another game to win the championship, which happened last night. So it was Scotland versus France. I put all my money on Scotland to win, and in the last minute they beat France. I won some money, and Wales won the championship. So all good in the end.
So moral of the story is to invest all your money on Scotland and
Apparently so.
rich. Yes.
Yeah, beer rich.
And now, Snail, this is what is this? Ultimate Frisbee, foosball. What is this?
No, it's neither soccer, right?
Soccer.
No, this is rugby.
Rugby.
Oh wait, no, this is rugby. This is that tough football.
No, rugby is whenever
pad.
you fight each other with rugs, right?
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like American football, although they're not pansies and don't wear pads. They
Or
hit each other
helmets.
harder.
Or
You had
helmets.
to go there.
Yeah.
You have to go there.
No helmets, no pads.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Tough.
So more concussions is what you're saying. You have more concussed
Arms falling off,
people.
heads on the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything,
conversation.
anything happened to you, Ness? Anything crazy this week?
Dude, the only thing is, it's like day 59 now, and these cats are torturing me. I woke up this morning and one of them was literally staring at me, just in the middle of me and Joe, just staring at me. And now I've got this new weapon, which is like a water bottle that's like 32 ounces. And I just chased that mofo. And like an hour later, I literally woke up again and there he was. He just, he's taunting me. But other than the cat, like everything else was just work. So that kind of meh. But yeah, the cat is keeping things very interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy to check in with you guys each and every week. That's awesome. Snail with his rugby stories. Ness getting attacked by cats, and me trying to cash a check that my ass can afford. So that's it.
You're
all
a
right.
hibiscus beer.
Well, let's talk some Destiny, guys. The TWAB came a little early, to our surprise. Usually it comes a little bit later in the day, but came up a little earlier. And I kind of knew why, because they had nothing to talk about. But the TWAB begins like this, guys. Zavala has issued a challenge to Caiatl. You have been chosen to represent the Vanguard in battle against the champions of the Cabal in a right of proving. If you are victorious, this could bring an end to the recent conflicts on Nessus. If you fail, Caiatl fills a seat on her war council in the form of Raucous Zavala. Head to the helm for your quest and gear up for the fight to remember. Now that's very interesting, because I know before the show we were talking about that she issued Caiatl issued that challenge to Zavala, saying, hey, put your champion against my champion. I didn't know that her champion included 200 other Cabal and a moving tank. And our champion included not ourselves, but 2 of our buddies who are pretty much immortal and can be resurrected whenever you want. So that's a little bit an unbalanced fight on both sides. But at the very end of the day, we were victorious, which is cool. Did you guys happen to like that mission? That strike? I believe it's called the Proving Ground Strike.
I like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sure.
I do like the little the wheels turning and the little treads and the stones that I was watching, and I was with Jay, and then I died, and I was like, Jay, what killed me? Because there was a rock, it came off the tread, it hit you in the head. Oh, thanks.
Man, did you play it, Ness?
Yeah, I did. It was funny. I played it with Snail and Jay, and Jay showed us like all the areas on the tread that you could actually walk on. So that was actually kind of funny. So at one point we lost total focus because it was my first time doing the strike, lost total focus of the strike. And we were just trying to figure out all the areas on the tread that we could actually walk on. So that was fun. It was the only reason we died too. Otherwise we would have done that completely with no deaths.
Yeah. There was a few things that I noticed. Well, for yours, you would have been a flawless one. There was a few things that I noticed on that strike, and one of them was whenever you start getting closer to the champion room, there was a little area where you're like, "Whoa, is this the Leviathan? Is this Callus's throne room?" A little bit, you know what I mean? You got those little vibes, which was kind of interesting. I wasn't sure why they would do that. Maybe Callus is kind of lurking around, which I'm sure Snail's going to have more information on that, unless you want to give us a little.
Well, she is royalty. And it was interesting that all the armor on the floor was Red Legion. So all the discarded dead bodies, old Red Legion.
Yeah, and we actually finally get to see that other female warrior or the champion we saw in the trailer, right? Remember we were discussing it. That was another lady, another female antagonist.
Yeah, but it actually wasn't a female.
It wasn't. I thought she was.
Interestingly, yeah. So the armor did have tusks, but apparently it was tusk ornaments because the champion in particular was representing Caiatl, and that was their way of representing by having the women's tusks as ornaments on,
he
identified.
On the body. He identified.
That's right. Yeah. Ignathan is his name. If you want to know more about him, I'll tell you a bit more later on.
Awesome. Perfect.
Nice.
There was also too, after you finished that quest, which had to involve, doing the strike, there was a cutscene, a very cool and intricate cutscene, probably one of the best ones ever. It came out Tuesday, so we'll spoil it to you, but we're gonna have Snail kind of bring that up and talk a little bit more about it a little bit later on the show on his little lore corner. Real awesome cutscene. Something else that came out this week too was the tuning changes to stasis on Crucible. I did run a little bit of Iron Banner. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I didn't notice a whole lot of stasis classes there. They were kind of messing, which kind of brought a little more balance. I don't know if you guys encountered less stasis than usual when you guys weren't playing or anything like that.
No, I ran a hunter with stasis, and then one game got 4 shadow dive kills. I was like, yeah, this is clearly not nerfed.
Yeah, you're toxic. You were the toxic
Thanks.
one. You're welcome.
Yes, that's Snail doing a bunch of toxic stuff. But well, like we talked about, we'll continue on with the TWAB. Iron Banner did drop in here, and they said that they changed something a little different about this Iron Banner. They kind of tweaked out some lobby balancing, additions that they did. And I have some thoughts on that. I'm sure you guys have some thoughts on it. I guess the way it works, or the way it used to be before, it was the current algorithm. It tried to kind of take the average skill level between the teams and kind of put them all together. And what did happen is it kind of made the teams kind of lopsided. There was more mercies. There was more stacked teams that were pretty much demolishing everything. So now what they did is they kind of did something that's more compared to a schoolyard pick or a snake draft. So they take the best player from each team and pair them up with the best player from each team, second best, third best, fourth best. It's kind of like same thing. You want to play ball, say you want to play rugby at the schoolyard. Snail, you go and pick people, and then you say, hey, I want him, I want Scotty, I want this guy. So you kind of have an idea who's better and who's not. But my thinking is, if you're just going into a yard or a schoolyard and you're going to pick teams, but you don't know how any of these people play, how are you going to identify who's the best and who's not the best? So my experience, I had a chance to jump in during my stream to do Iron Banner. I did some solo queuing, and what I noticed is the first couple of games were pretty rough. They were rough in a sense where you couldn't get a whole lot of kills. The engagement was a little bit lopsided. You would win those one-on-ones, and sometimes you wouldn't. It was weird. Some games, first game we won, the second game we lost. Then after that, after I continued to play more, I noticed that the system or the algorithm recognized my placement in a sense, wherever I needed to be. Then the matches started to get a little bit more even. They were going to the wire, and we were winning some, losing some. It felt balanced. Then another teammate of ours, another clanmate of ours jumped in, Ginger, and he said, hey, let's try some Iron Banner. Him and I went on there again. Once again, first couple matches were rough. The system had to recognize where we were at in our skill level. Then we paired off and then we started doing a little bit better. He had to leave. I went back to solo queue. The moment I went back to solo queue, it's like the system forgot who I was. Once again, first 3 matches, horrible, crappy. Then after that, it started kind of balancing itself. So I noticed that the more you played, the system recognizes, oh, I like that kid. I'll pick that kid up, or give me that guy. So the system knows where you stand. But if you're a new player or somebody who wants to try this out and goes in there the first 3 games, it's going to be frustrating as hell, and you're just going to back out. I mean, that's one of the things that I saw. If you're going to go in for the long run, it's beneficial. But if you're just going to kind of get your feet wet, as soon as you feel that cold water, you're out of there. I don't know. Those were my experience. What do you guys think?
I honestly, I mean, Iron Banner is based off of your light level. So I don't understand how this actually, I mean, so you have somebody who's maybe their light level is really low, but they're actually a pretty good player. Like I don't understand why they would change it from the skill based. I mean, just go back to skill based. They're actually just making it more complicated. If this person has a KD of, 1 point something and somebody else has something high, like it should be matching it up that way. I feel like they're overcomplicating it. And especially to do it with Banner, like it's light level. That's really important in that. So I can see how you can actually go through all that and get frustrated and then just not want to play for a while. So I don't know. I'd be interested to see how many people actually just kept on going.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't keep on going. I quit a number of matches because I was so frustrated. And I played quite a bit when it went live. And I was finding I must have been the 6th person picked for team 2 because obviously, there's 12 people. Number 1's in team 1, number 2's in team 2, and as it goes down, so that always means that team 2 is weakened because it's the lower players that are in team 2. So I found I was winning matches without getting any kills and being stomped down left, right, and center, and wasn't actually getting any further forward. So I couldn't do any of the bounties because, well, apart from the one where I was winning things. But then winning's no fun if you're not getting a kill and you're just the one that's being spawn killed every 2 seconds. And yes, go back to skill-based matchmaking, which was the original concept. We came away from that because the top PvP players were fed up of having sweaty matches, always matching with the top PvP and wanted to stomp some people. Well, it's great, but that's the top 1%. Now we're in a world where those players get the best matches and I get stomped every match. If you're going to turn the majority of people off, then what's the point?
Yeah,
because it wasn't fun and I turned off. The only time that Iron Banner now is entertaining is when you're in a team of 6.
Yeah,
because there is no now because they've turned it off already because it didn't work. So the algorithm doesn't work if you're a team of 6. So it wasn't matching with anybody. So they had to turn it off for the normal Iron Banner loadings. That is now only in the solo playlist because it broke after the first day. Which then comes back to the fact that it obviously wasn't fit if it was going to break after day 1 when you were doing it in the full list. So it's not quite thought through clearly, in my view. Going back to the skill-based matchmaking probably makes more sense. And back to that point I think we made a few weeks ago about if it's a 6 stack, only match 6 stacks.
Yeah, there's no way. You'd have to separate the teams according to their algorithm. You'd have to like be on the opposite clans team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't know how it's matching. So if it's matching only based on how you're playing at that time, then that's ridiculous because every player has got a number attached to them of their skill level when it comes to PvP. So why aren't they using that? So it should initially put you in based on your current skill level in the game.
Yeah.
Not so if my KD this season is better than it's been any time in the game because it's currently sat at 1.26 or something. But usually I'd be a negative KD. So if it's looking at my overall lifetime KD, it'll be 0.9. So it should never put me in with flawless people, which it was putting me in with, which suggests that it's using an algorithm that's based on your current game, which means it would take me a number of games of being stomped to put me in the right place. Well, by then you've lost me.
Yeah. You know, some of the things that I've heard and went through the forums is that people were finding a hard time getting into a match, longer queue times, because they were trying to find the right skill level. And the same things that Snail said, that were echoing the same thoughts and same problems that they encountered, is that some of the matches were kind of lopsided still, even worse than ever. Seems like you were getting demolished, but yet you had the most kills, or you were winning matches and you had like no kills. Like you said, it was just like no fun.
Being carried. Yeah.
No fun. So I'm kind of curious how Bungie is going to explain how their algorithm works, because they don't really sit down and explain everything step by step. They just kind of give you an idea how you will do it in a schoolyard, pick 'em game, stuff like that. But you know what? We talked about trials before last couple of episodes, how the reward system, the way it's broken down. I think it's time to talk about Iron Banner. Iron Banner is a match or a game mode where you go in there, do your bounties, and you're out. There's no need for you to keep playing. Iron Banner doesn't have daily bounties. Iron Banner has 4 bounties for you to do the entire week. I mean, hell, Osiris has daily bounties, and that thing sticks around for 3 days. There's no incentive for you to go in there and keep playing it. It's yeah, I mean, that's for a game mode that sticks around the entire week, comes around once a month, being as special, should be more special than Trials. Trials comes once a week, right? The rewards on Trials are way better, you know, if you're in that top, 1%. But the rewards on Iron Banner, they're mediocre at best. I mean, you have no say. I mean, you can get all your bounties done, and whenever you cash them in, you'll get 4 pieces of armor, and 3 of them are gauntlets, which you don't. I mean, they entice you saying that this is pinnacle gear, but it's worthless pinnacle gear by the time you think about it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, why do I want to play a game mode that's going to give me 2 weapons from year 1 of Destiny, which aren't really exciting, and an armor that's been repeated for years? If you're going to give me new armor every season with Iron Banner, that'll be something to go after, because at least there'll be it doesn't have to be new armor, an ornament. Can we get some of the ornaments from old Iron Banner armor that were really good? You go back to D1,
open up the catalog.
That's what I miss. I mean, in D1, Iron Banner, you would get this amazing gear. I remember, and I think it was an Iron Banner one where the Titans had like a chest piece that actually had fire in the belly kind of area. The Hunter one looked, I mean, I hate to admit it, but it looked amazing. So yeah, they have to, if they're gonna kind of always allude that this is like a special event, they need to actually give something that's special. I mean, the gear that, like the armor set for this one, it's ugly. I mean, it's nothing really to rave about. And I've been doing the same thing that you have. I've been completing the bounties, and then I go off and do something totally different. And I used to love it. I used to play it over and over and over, but now there is no incentive to. So I'm down with some ornaments. I'm down with some of that old, beautiful fire gear. And I mean, you remember the Hunter, the wolf helmet? So pretty. I loved my Hunter. I mean, I loved my Hunter back in the day, because now I'm a Warlock. Yeah.
See, I think by them putting this algorithm on Iron Banner first was kind of like a mistake, I feel, because people are not playing the game mode enough. They're not going to stick around longer to see their benefits. They should have started off with regular Crucible, perfected it, then drop it off on other skill-based things. Wouldn't it be awesome, Snail, not to go up against, on your second card, 1 win? Wouldn't it be awesome not to go up against a 6-win team on Trials, where their skill-based level, just because their skill-based level is the same as yours, but yet they have 6 wins? Because if you think about it, they'll start to manipulate that. Players get smarter, dude. They'll say, hey, on this match, you guys don't get any kills. Just weaken them for me. I will get all the kills. And then before you know it, you'll start getting paired up with guys who are average in kills, and yet the trial gods are just going to stomp on you every time. They'll figure out a way to manipulate the system, man. They always do. The only answer is they have to go back to skill base. I hate to say it. It's going to stop some streamers from playing. Bungie's going to lose that popularity. That's probably why the reason they did it is because people want to see those kill feeds of one guy destroying a team of blueberries. And I don't know. I mean, it gets fun for a while, but we've seen that, been there, done that. I mean, why even make that a thing?
Yeah,
it doesn't make
it's probably
sense
worth.
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's probably worth mentioning at this point when we're talking about this that Trials has had its 2 busiest weekends since launch. And it dipped away, and then we've got now, I think it was 350 odd thousand people played for Hand Cannon Weekend, and we're topping out that way with Messenger Weekend, only because of the loot.
That's right, the loot.
But we forget that. I mean, Bungie will celebrate that. Yeah, loads of people are in Trials. It's brilliant, but actually, the majority of that player base is jumping off a map.
Yeah,
but they're there.
But they're there. Well, that's not gameplay.
Yeah.
No. But it's been broken. Like most of since they introduced that Trials was going to be a thing again, it's been broken. Like, I don't know, 75% of the time. So yeah, of course people are going to jump into it right now. Yeah. It's going to be like a mass, but there's also going to be a mass exodus eventually with a lot of people once they realize how to break it again.
Yeah. But Bungie did
remember, they're not going to launch it half-baked.
Yeah, let's go back to Luke Smith's words on that. We should play it constantly. But you know what? There should be some light at the end of the tunnel, per se. Bungie is getting, or I don't know if they have yet, they have a crucible team, a sandbox team in place. Some changes that they're going to be bringing out season 15, season 16, around there. So we are going to be seeing some changes. It is taking some time. Would I want to sacrifice story for PvP? No, thank you. Take your time on the PvP stuff. What's been going on in the story, I love that. Keep that going, Bungie. Don't fuck things up, please. Keep that going. Well, that's pretty much everything we had to do with Iron Banner. Any other thoughts before we move on to the Prime Gaming Rewards, guys? No? All right. Let's talk about some Prime Gaming Rewards, Snail. What do you think?
There are, yes. So new Prime Gaming Rewards. If you've got an Amazon Prime account, then you can link it to Prime Gaming, which in turn gives you rewards with Destiny and other games. So Destiny's rewards this month is the Huckleberries. You actually get the weapon, plus then a skin for that weapon, plus the exotic ghost, which is the one sanctified Vigilance Ghost, which I think came out in Opulence.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of Menagerie, wasn't it, originally?
I think so.
I don't know. It rings a bell. It looks like the Menagerie Ghost anyway. And you get a nice little strange looking ship. Why you'd want that, I don't know. But it can make you some glimmer. So and it's free.
For collectors, I guess.
Yeah, for collectors. Yeah, that's right. For collectors, not for glimmer collectors. You just go and collect it from Amanda once you've linked your account and request the actual free gift. But I quite like the Huckleberries red and blue shader. I used it the other night. And bizarrely, what this does is make me use things that I've not used for a while, because it gives me a nice little weapon, and then I pick it up and I took it out for a little spin. Forgotten how good Huckleberry was back in the day.
When was the last time you fired the Graviton lance?
About 3 nights ago when I used it in the new Grandmaster Nightfall. I was looking for a pulse with Void. Do you know how difficult it is to find a Void pulse these days? Because we've freaking deleted them all.
Wow. Yeah.
So Last Perdition is the only one you can currently get, I think, apart from, I think there's a Dreaming City one. Is it Dreaming City, or it could be, I think it's a Dreaming City one that's Void as well. Vouchsafe, is that the one I'm thinking of? I don't know. Vouchsafe
is a scout rifle.
That's a scout though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't think of another pulse that's Void. Yeah, so I found a Last Perdition, which I used in the end because I need the exotic slot from something else. But I did try using Graviton.
Yeah, I mean, some of those guns, like you said, if they're being showcased on the Prime Gaming, you're like, hey, I remember using that gun. And then you're able to bust it out and start trying it out, which is kind of cool. They need to rework some exotics here in the future, but I mean, that's another talk for another day, man, for sure. Where can you get those things, Snail? Tell people, where can we find those things? Those
you can find them.
Those exotic rewards.
You can find those nice rewards by going to Prime Gaming. and requesting them.
Awesome.
It's very kind.
Perfect. And they're free. That's the best thing.
And they're free.
All free.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, there's been some changes happening. There's going to be some, there've been some background changes, some developing things that the team has been taking care of. Guardian Games Ghost Shells. Now, this was an issue that they found out when they were doing the launch of the patch for 3.1.1. Not too many ones, sorry. So it was discovered that Guardian Games Ghost Shells were being replaced with other Ghost Shells, and they would disappear when equipped. Due to this, the ability to equip the shells were temporarily disabled. Well, now those shells are going to be re-enabled. You'll be able to pop them and use them. I don't know why. I don't know how crazy those Ghost Shells. I mean, the only thing that they give you is Divine Light or something like that, where it gives you more XP. That's the only reason why you will pop that. Is that what it is? It's called Divine Light? I forgot what it's called. The perk that those Ghost Shells have. Well, anyway, now you can use them. Now you can put them on and equip them. So now the hotfix coming up. It's going to be dropping up on Thursday, April 1st. I love how Bungie uses all these points and numbers. It's going to be 3.1.1.2. I mean, come on, just go to 3.2 already, please.
Bizarre.
Well, there's going to be some maintenance window. It's going to be expected, a little bit of downtime, and those issues are going to be fixed. And these are some of them. Are you guys ready? The Insight Terminus Nightfall Triumph will now be correctly awarded when scored requirement is reached. Did not know that was a thing. I don't know if that happened to anybody, but it's going to be taken care of for you guys. The Lost Sector puzzles for the Xenophage quest will now work as intended. Don't know that was a thing. I have my Xenophage years ago.
Yeah.
So good luck to those who don't have it. Now you will be able to get it. The heavy ammo will no longer spawn underneath the distant shore crucible map. I've physically seen that, and that was annoying. I'm so glad that they fixed that for me. So that's pretty good. Those are some of the things that are going to be taken care of here on Thursday on that hotfix 3.1.1.2. There are some other things that are going to be taken care of. Some of them are exotic enhancement kind of little issues that are going to be taken care of, and also some weekly known issues. And for that, like always, we turn on to our favorite correspondents when it comes to weekly issues. That is Ness. Ness, welcome.
When you say it like that, I feel like I should have I should be in a wind tunnel with the mic.
It's raining hard over here.
It's dogs and cats.
Shake the camera, it'll feel real.
So this week, Snail purposely put me on this one because this week I was streaming and I was really excited because in one mission, I ended up getting 3 exotics, and that never happens to me. So I had scrolled over them and they said 0. And I was like, I don't know what that's about. Maybe it'll change. So as soon as I popped them, they were all enhanced cores. I don't think I've ever been so angry, but yeah, they should have let in with that they were doing that because I thought that something was broken. So this week's TWAB, they actually mentioned that. So you're going to see enhanced cores that are actually going to come out of exotic emblem or engrams. So yeah, that was really mad. I mean, I got 3 cores, but still, I was really expecting an exotic piece, like weapon, something. So whatever, Bungie, whatever. Good one. So as far as weekly known issues, so they mentioned a couple that I didn't think were really all that important. So there was one as far as the adapt magazine mod was actually not giving any sort of extra bonus reserves for the solar scar. As far as gameplay issues, once again, the Colorblind Society speaks out. I mean, it is kind of a big deal, especially if you're trying to get eyes right now, that the scanner and the operator augments actually are the same color and they're not identified either. If you can't see the color blue or yellow, just look for the little emblem. I mean, come on, guys, figure it out. I don't think
that helps you either.
I mean, but it's there. It's on top of the head or whatever. It lands on the floor. But yeah. So Tritanopia colorblind setting. So if you have an issue with blue and yellow, just have someone else do it. All right. So a couple of things. Yeah. I mean, have someone else do this now. So a couple of things for Warlocks. The Chesa Vesper of Radius has actually been disabled. They haven't mentioned what the issue is, but it's broken apparently at this time. The Necrotic Grips, if you actually break the shield with a distance melee, you're not going to be able to poison any enemies. The Top of the Tree Dawnblade super, the second dash is broken. So if you go for that second dash, you're going to get a totally different animation, and it's actually going to go straight into a cooldown. Let's see. Okay, so the Shade Binder, as far as the ice flares and the super projectiles, they're actually not tracking people up until like a certain distance. So you have to be at a certain distance for them to work. And then there are 3 chess pieces for Titans that aren't working. Don't care. Look it up. Hunters need to start doing more dodges. And I only say that because the Gambler's dodge apparently is not refilling their melee. So they don't need that. Dodge more. Let me see. As far as stasis, there are a couple of stasis related issues where the 1-inch punch is not going to kill anybody. That finisher, if you have stasis equipped, it will not kill. It will not actually go through with it.
That sucks.
Yeah. In Europa, you have a patrol call to the nth power. If you have stasis, you're not going to actually complete that patrol. So a couple of stasis issues right there. Other than that, if you want a full list of all these emergent lists, you can go on to the known issues article on Destiny.
Thank you so much, Ness.
You're welcome.
Lots of issues.
There is an additional known issue worth sharing, which benefits us, which isn't in Bungie's list. But currently, if you go to the Dreaming City and buy the nice bounties off the lovely lady who gives you nice bounties on the Dreaming City, you get legendary engrams from them. If you then load, once completing your bounty, into the Shattered Throne and pop the engram from that bounty, it'll actually give you the Shattered Throne weapons and armor with the high rolls. Because it thinks you've picked up an engram from the Shattered Throne. So you can do 2 per character per day, so 27 a week. Is that right? Yeah.
Every day, right? Because they're daily.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, okay.
That's right. So well worth doing if you want some of the weapons from the Shattered Throne with the different sort of rolls on it, which I still don't know what the difference is because I've not seen one that's dropped different.
I haven't even run the Shattered Throne to even tell the truth. I have to kind of try it out. There's so much stuff to do, so much things that's going on. Well, those were the known issues. Like Ness says, if you want the full list, go to Bungie.net. They'll have it there for you guys. And hopefully this next hotfix coming out on Thursday will address the ones that have been bugging people. That's hotfix 3.1.1.2. Perfect. That was pretty much the TWAB. There is a artist of the week, which you guys should definitely check out in the TWAB. They take about, I want to say, a lot of these Asian artists, maybe 18 or 20 of them, and they have this movie or this video that they do, and each of them kind of draws one thing. It's so cool. You guys should definitely check it out. It's right there, right above the movie of the week. It's on Twitter, and I'm always amazed by the way the people, the artists in the community, the way they do their art, man. It's always, I'm always impressed every time I see something new. But definitely check that out, guys. Well, the way DMG, who kind of wrote this TWAB, ended his newsletter for the week is that he's having a good time. So are we. We're enjoying the game. This new strike is definitely really fun. The seal can be completed now. If you guys want to go and get that chosen seal, it could be taken care of as of this week. New strike, Iron Banner's going on, the new changes to stasis, a lot of stuff to look forward to. He did say that he's going to spend some time in the raid so he can get some of his Eyes of Tomorrow, because apparently they upped the ante on getting those, which that is a blatant lie. And one of our clanmates got a little bit, I want to say, impatient and decided to go raid without us, and he so disappointed that he did 3 characters and got nothing. I feel so sorry for you, Jay. I apologize. Better luck next week. Like we talked about, Ness is probably the only one who hasn't got the eyes out of us. hopefully we get an opportunity to run it 3 times with her this week and see if she gets it. And if she doesn't get it, Bungie, you're a goddamn liar. Because
It's gonna break the game.
you have not upped any of the things.
Yeah. Well, technically on their current run rate, she should get it on her next go. But that's going to be a lie, isn't it?
That's the stat, right? That's the stat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I've gotten lucky on, which I can bring this out to you guys. I did gambits in 3 matches. I was able to get a bottom dollar.
Oh, nice.
Before I ran multiple ones and nothing. But the bottom dollar drop rate, I believe, is working as intended, which is kind of nice. Maybe.
Particularly the Royal Entry is not working as intended because that rocket launcher is the most valuable rocket launcher in game, and it's rare.
That is.
It doesn't know it exists.
Well, that is, to me, I believe it is a leprechaun riding a unicorn, okay?
Yeah.
While chatting up with Bigfoot. That is the most rarest thing you're ever going to see.
Yeah.
So Royal Entry, you can get it from Gambit, and it's like special?
No. The Royal Entry
the
is
Vanguard
a rocket launcher. You typically get it from Strikes, Nightfall. I mean, if you do want to up your chances, there's a ghost perk, which if you guys haven't messed with your ghost little mods, definitely check them out. There's so many cool things in there where you can get an additional legendary engram. And if you run that, that gives you a much better possibility. I mean, a possibility from 0 to 0.00100. Know how Bungie likes to put those points and zeros. Your probabilities go up a little higher, but definitely try to use that.
I should tell you. So obviously Ness isn't aware of the utility of that weapon, but it rolls with lasting impression, which is the one that everybody wants on rocket launchers. But its intrinsic perk is tracking, so it's the only rocket launcher with tracking with lasting impression.
You know, I think I dismantled it. I'm really thinking about it, and I think I dismantled it because I have a Bad Omens that has tracking and cluster, which I like. Yeah, I might have dismantled that.
Yeah, but this one has it built in. It's not even part of the perk. That means you can get tracking plus 2 other things.
Yeah, I might have dismantled that. Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
That's why you don't get the nice things like eyes, because you dismantle good things.
Bungie recognizes your sins, and then they're just not going to give it to you.
Are you serious? No, don't give it to her.
Well, guys, that was the end of the TWAB. Definitely not the end of the show, because we have a lore corner or story time with Snail, like we like to call it here. Snail's going to be breaking down the continuation of the story that he's been bringing us each and every week. And at the end of the episode, or at the end of his lore thing, he's going to ask us a question. So pay close attention to Snail. Snail, I yield my time.
Thank you. This is where, because we're live now and you're going to post this video, you'll see everybody fall asleep and walk away and do their other things. This usually happens. So we're going back to Zavala's assassination attempt 1.01, 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, because we're doing it Bungie way. So as we left it last week, there was hope that Amtech was involved. Was Amtech still alive? We knew that the Scions had a conclave and what was going on. And we knew they were looking for vengeance in the name of Amtech. So that's still the case, because in this week's nice cutscene, we do see another assassination attempt on Zavala, using the ghost weapon that we talked about last week from the Palindrome lore, which knocked out the ghost instantly. And then we've seen the second Scion attempt to kill Zavala. And then we see Crow react and save Zavala's life. What we also saw is that actually Caiatl is a very honourable person, because they lost at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And she was ready to go with the armistice, if I can say that word, which is amazing. And then you saw her react to what the Scions were doing. And this is a reoccurring threat behind the scenes. It's interesting to see where the story goes with Scions, because they've been around for a while now. Just that bubbling underneath the surface. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see this story continue into future seasons. And you're right, if we'd actually failed that proving ground, strike. As you were saying at the beginning, we would have had Brackus Zavala. But worse than that, we would probably have had to give up Earth to some extent, because that was sort of the indication, because the Cabal really, we needed a new home. So we're kicking them off Earth, and anyone who stays will be brandished, not part of Caiatl's army, and under our direct get rid of, so we can clear out the trash, which is why they're going to explain why Cabal is still on Earth, I assume, because we can't just delete them off because they're an intrinsic part of the Red War part that is on Earth. So hey ho. So it's quite good. I mean, it's amazing that we finally got on board that tank. That was very pretty, as we kind of discussed the strike earlier.
A cool tank,
but it is very fun. Ignivan was the final champion. He's an interesting character, and there is a flavor text part of the Threaded Needle which talks about him and him being chosen. And he also refers to in the flavor text Ixal and his writings. Now that was another scion, and was he acting as part of that with the scions to set the scions up? He already knew he was in a losing battle, because he talks about the foe being resurrected constantly, and he's always fighting somebody that's dead, and he's never died. So he obviously knew that he wasn't going to win that battle, which is quite interesting. Read the flavor text on the Threaded Needle, very interesting. So anyway, we won. Armistice happened. Jaw-dropping moment with Crow obviously saving Zavala's life. There was that great sort of flashback to Aldrin stood over Cade, and now the roles reversed with Aldrin on the floor, and Zavala stood over Crow holding his hand out. There's some great pictures of showing the two scenes looking very identical. That was quite good to see, I think, and certainly gives the impression that it's not really the redemption of Aldrin, but more the making of Crow, I would say, because we have to remember that Aldrin is dead. This is only Aldrin's body with somebody else inside, technically, because Ghost has bought somebody else with no memory of Aldrin alive. So really, is it anything to do with Aldrin? But it's a nice flashback from her face, I guess. So the next bit we see from that mission is then the message from Caiatl on the helm, where you see that nice sort of stereo play message to the Empire, revoking the name of Calic, who's the only scion that's left from the two that we saw in the cutscene, because the first one got killed by Caiatl quite quickly. It's quite entertaining watching her pick up the scion and throw it on the floor. That was amazing. I was half expecting to go into the rock with people's elbow or something like that, but no, it didn't happen. There is that sort of brilliant bit you get in films where there's a thing that's wrong. So she cut her hand with a knife, and then next time you see her hand, she's got no cut on it. Well, notice these things. There you go.
She just went and all this, and then I'm pretty sure that Zavala was like, "Thank God that attempt was made on me, because I don't have to do that."
It's like, hepatitis B. Anyone?
Nobody wants that.
So yes, we might find out more about who Calic is, but obviously the message says that they're revoking the name Calic and won't have any name under the Cabal, and that anybody who's a traitor to be hunted out. The issue with that is I don't think she'll find anybody, any of the scions that are actually working behind the scenes, because they're too hidden within the Cabal forces. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got this far. And they've been bubbling around for ages, and they got away with so much stuff. You know, Amtech crashed the Almighty on Earth, for God's sake. No one said anything. You just carried on as if nothing had happened. But yeah, so it's interesting that they're going to continue looking for this threat within. But I think we'll see more of the scions taking over as we move on, because the Cabal are really weak at the moment. in all honesty. We've got no home. They're on an armistice with the Guardians. So it's interesting. As for Crow's next steps, so you get to speak to him again later on after saving Zavala. And it was interesting, he was reflecting on the fact that Zavala had seen him as the Crow rather than as who he was, as in Aldrin. So that was quite nice, that he felt redeemed, not alien with a face that didn't match what he was trying to represent. So that was quite good. But he's been sent on a mission to look for those rogue science as well. So I'm sure all the paths will cross at some point in the future. I think this is probably the end of the story that we're going to see until the end of the season now, because that was sort of the end of that little bit. I think we'll see that story play out more in future seasons. Well, I hope we do. Be a shame to lose it now. But yeah, you're right. I was going to ask a question, and the question would be: is this the best story season we've had since Destiny released? And to put some context behind that, we've had a number of seasons. So year one was the Red War, Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Year two, which was Forsaken, is Season the Outlaw, Season the Forge, Drifter and Opulence. Shadowkeep, which was year three, is Season the Undying, Dawn, Worthy and Arrivals. And then year four is Season the Hunt, Season the Chosen, and Season the Redacted, and another maybe. So which out of them would be better than the stories we've currently got? And I'll argue this is probably the best story content we've had for a while. And that's probably, we've seen that all this year with Beyond Light, in all honesty, because we've focused on the story more than ever. But I'd argue that this is the first time we've had multiple ways of telling a story, be that from bits of lore on weapons, what we've seen online, what we've seen from things like the little machine in the helm that talks with radio messages, be that live playing of a talk between Osiris and Crow in the helm, be that cutscenes, be that the cartoon cutscene with Zavala, be that the voiceovers as we've gone around, the Glycon, loads and loads of different ways of telling a story that's really drawn people into what's going on with these characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've not gone into that depth before Beyond Light came out. We've told stories, but a lot of it's been hidden behind the scenes. And the ones that have played out in front of us have been a lot shorter, because I guess it costs a lot of money to do loads of cutscenes, and they've not thought of other ways of doing it before. And I think this is the first time they've brought all the things together and made this really engrossing story. So your question is there another season story that's better than this one?
Yeah, I guess
I feel like you asked the question and then answered it promptly.
Well, I answered it from my point of view.
I like that. It's like, which one do you guys like? Do you guys like A or B? But let me tell you about A first. A is way better than B, and A is shits on B multiple times. But it's you guys' choice. What do you like, A or B?
True.
No, I do understand your question. There were so many seasons that we've had since the birth of Destiny 2. When it comes to story time or storyline or just story in general, nothing is even close to this season. I mean, this season is light years away from what the rest of the seasons or the rest of the storylines from previous seasons are to we compare it to, right? Which is very interesting, because we have to think about that this entire storyline was created or produced during a pandemic, which that right there alone blows my freaking mind, because just to keep the professionalism and also the safety of all the team, and to bring out this kind of storyline as the end result, it's amazing. Hats off to Bungie. They did a really good job. One of my favorite seasons, and we'll have to go all the way back to Shadowkeep. One of my favorite seasons, it was a Season of the Dawn. If you guys, well, once again, I always tell you guys the same thing every time I talk about this season. Go back and watch the release trailer for that season. It'll bring chills to your skin, man. It's the music, and then the way Saint 14's voice is finally projected. You get to finally hear it. It's amazing. So that whole season was about, once again, the antagonists were three scions. You know, we're talking about scions, and I believe they were called the Council of Scion Flare or something like that, some sort of council. But each one of them wanted to change the outcome of the future of the Red War. They wanted to go back in time, and strangely enough, they wanted to use one of these weapons or one of these machines that Osiris had created, which was the sundials. And from us trying to stop them, we went back in time and helped one of Osiris' friends slash lover, kind of help him get out of the never-ending loophole of him dying. So that was actually a really cool season. Story-wise, I mean, nothing can top this. But you felt the chains of the story timeline were kind of being broken. Bungie said, you know what, fuck with the script. Let's just, do some crazy things. And the craziest thing they did is it brought back Saint 14. Brought back Saint 14 from the dead. Nobody thought he was ever going to come back. Nobody assumed he was going to come back. That pretty much threw a wrench into every thinking of we had on lore, which was amazing. That was pretty much the birth of Bungie saying, hey, let's tweak some storylines. Let's make some storylines more interesting and as crazy as possible, but yet let's make them work. Season of the Dawn had some weapons you can craft using the sundials, had some great mods. And once again, I'm not talking about storyline, I'm talking about the season itself. But that specific storyline of the Scions being the antagonists, and that was pretty much the first time we actually saw the Scions kind of step up and be the bad guys. And to me, I think Bungie kind of went back and got some ideas from that season, because we have some Scions right now who are obviously more scarier or even feared more than the Cabal. I mean, those Scions can assassinate you. They're small. They can hide into places. I mean, they have some power. They almost can wield almost light base, between arc, solar, and then void. We saw that kind of whenever we were fighting the Scions in the sundial. So that was actually a really good season. But this storyline is my light years ahead of what we've been doing, what Bungie has done in the future. It should technically, this entire thing, all these things you brought up from Destiny 2, Forsaken, the entire Destiny, I guess, history, or the entire Destiny game should be compared between Shadowkeep and Beyond Light. That should be what the pinnacle of storytelling and seasons should be from there. Everything before that, it just seems like Bungie was just plugging in holes and trying to tie on loose ends, stuff like that. I mean, we can talk about the storyline with the Brace. That's a whole different storyline that nobody was expecting. It was amazing too. But this storyline is pretty good. Any thoughts, Ness?
All right, I keep on trying to think of which season I actually preferred the most. And I mean, as far as story goes, I know that it's not a season, it's a DLC, but Forsaken actually kind of always comes to mind. But that's because there was an actual character that you actually cared about, and you're following where this whole thing is going, and you can kind of tell there's a chance that he's going to make it, but there's a bigger chance he's not going to make it. So for that alone, like it's one of the reasons why I liked Forsaken, was because for once you actually had a character that you were following along, that you actually cared about. You actually cared about their future. As soon as Cade passed, though, the season started kind of more like there's an antagonist. So I feel like as far as storyline goes, Forsaken will always be my favorite. And I think there was a lot of content with that DLC also. As far as story, though, I have to agree, the Bray story was very unique to me. I like the idea that they weren't trying to pass off Bray as this genius, but as a madman. And everything that he created, even though Cade came out of that also, Cade was supposedly the good one. I mean, everything else he created was he had another agenda. And what he took out of the Vex, I mean, to create them, like there was even a storyline based off of that. Like I really liked kind of the idea of, I guess, a genius that's imperfect, but at the same time, things came out of him that, you know, have benefited the future, I guess. So yeah, as far as the storyline with Caitlin, as I like to call her, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I've enjoyed it, but I feel like storyline for me anyway would be the Forsaken DLC and definitely the Bray. Those were very interesting to me.
You know what's funny?
The fact that Ness picks all the DLCs and not the seasons.
I know.
I'm
Hey,
but it's good
that
stories.
as far as the seasons, like I don't honestly like the last season, the season of the hunt. The storyline of Beyond Light actually for me overshadowed that.
It did.
So for me, the DLC is always overshadowed. There's more cutscenes. There's a little bit more of a quest line with it that I like to follow. That it also includes cutscenes. I love movies. Okay, so yeah, so the DLCs for me have been better as far as the storyline goes. The seasons haven't. Yeah. I mean, they're fun. Yeah, you get a quest line, and I mean, I'm like at 12 out of 17 or some craziness. Yeah. I don't know.
It's interesting because we were talking earlier that the best seasons have been the ones with the science, have been the behind sort of protagonists.
Yeah.
So we think of obviously Dawn with them got Worthy with the Almighty crashing, and now we've got this current season, and the science are there behind the scenes. So it's interesting that the best seasons come out of their storylines, and yet we've never seen them in game so push forward. And I hope we move forward from this and we go, actually, let's have more Scion interaction. Let's see the conclave talking together and what they're actually planning rather than reading about it behind the scenes. So it'd be interesting to see where Destiny's going with this. But they're right that the future of Destiny looks bright with all these little stories that they've got brewing underneath the surface.
Yeah, keep that going. Keep that storylines. I mean, there's been some jaw-dropping moments so far, and they've been doing a really good job in keeping that. Thank you, Snail, for the information you brought us. There's something you didn't bring up though, which I started laughing hysterically when I heard it. So I'm going to pretend I am Zavala, and I'm also going to act out like I am Ikora. So, for example, right, Zavala just walks into his office. He's like, "Shit, Ikora, did you know Aldrin's alive?" And Ikora's like there, and she's like, "Aldrin? Oh yeah, he's alive. He's been alive. Yeah, it's not Aldrin. It's the Crow." Can you imagine? Everybody knew,
apart from him.
Apart from him.
Are you serious?
And then he was like, "What the fuck?" And then he even looked at us, and it's like, "And you knew too, bro? And you knew too? And you didn't even fucking tell me?" Dude, that was the most hilarious moment. Because if I could make me laugh, because I could only imagine like Cora just working on something, and she's like, "What do you mean?" "Oh yeah, he's been alive for a while. Yeah, me and Osiris have been talking about that for days." And so Zavala didn't know shit, dude. That's hilarious. Oh god, that made me laugh so hard.
I'm sure underneath her breath, she's saying to herself, "I'm not involved in the game anymore anyway. I just stand on the side and talk rubbish to nobody."
And that made me laugh so hard, dude. Zavala got his feelings hurt because he was the last one to find out. Oh my god, dude. That was hilarious. That was awesome. Oh man. Well, hopefully the story will continue. I know Snail believes the story might be concluded there, or will be concluding here pretty soon. But hopefully the storyline will continue. I do want to find out what that Scion is up to, or what's his next move. So hopefully we'll figure something out there. That weapon is dangerous, man. That weapon is pretty gnarly. You know, you can take out a ghost like that, and pretty much it leaves you vulnerable. It's pretty gnarly, pretty scary there. But that's pretty much the episode. Any final thoughts you guys have? Anything you guys want to say about the TWAB or about the lore? Yeah. Perfect.
That's Snail. No more stories.
No more stories. I can smell my tea.
All right, tea time. Perfect, guys. That was another episode in the books, episode 23. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a special episode because it is the first episode that's going to be raw and uncut. You're going to get it the way we hear it, what we're talking about. And also, very special announcement. The reason why this episode is going to be raw and uncut is because we are going to be doing something with this episode. By the time you hear this episode on any of your podcast providers, any Spotify, iTunes, whatever you use to listen to this episode. If you go to YouTube and search the Thre Warlocks Podcast, you're going to be able to see this episode live in there. Well, not live because it's recorded, but you're going to be able to see the faces to the voices of this warlocks that are talking.
Yeah, we apologize in advance.
Yeah, they prepare in advance.
Yeah.
So
You always get the comments, don't you? You don't look like your voice.
I know.
As if a voice has got a face attached to it.
I thought you were sure.
Well, that was the episode, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Vega 6417. That's my gamer tag on Xbox Live. You can also find me on Twitter, which is the handle Jesuvius. And also, I have a Facebook. It's kind of weird and interesting. I have to get a Facebook in order for me to use the Genuine Apathy Clan Facebook. And if you want to look for me there, is really funny. It's Vega, the word, and then a 4617, all spelled out. 4617. And I don't even know what I'm doing. The only thing I do there is I post videos, music videos, each and every day of songs that I think are cool. So if you want to discuss music, I like music. We can go in there and do it. If you guys recommend music to me, I'll love to. Hit me up there, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up online. And also, thank you once again to those who watch my stream. I will be streaming each and every Thursday from now on. And the timetable for that is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, just a couple hours. So with that, I will pass it on to Snail.
Oh, me first. That's amazing. Yeah, you threw me now. It's usually Ness first. It's gonna ruin my 2268 business. But we all know my 2268 story by now. But it is my my catchphrase, isn't it? Let's be honest. I'm the best wooden snail. If there is another wooden snail out there, please contact me because I don't believe you exist.
Do it.
I'm waiting. Can't hear them. Yep. So you can find me on Xbox Wooden Snail 2268. I'm also on Twitch when it works. It's not working at the moment. That's under Wooden Snail. You can find me on YouTube underneath Wooden Snail. Instagram, it's Wooden Snail 1. Guys, there's another Wooden Snail on Instagram. Please, let's wipe them out. Where's the signs when you want them? Perhaps they could sort me out. And that's me, really. You can find me all over the place.
All right.
Ness.
So Ness1 on Xbox and Twitch. And then I have my personal account on Insta, Alexis V1. And then I also run the Genuine, what was it? Gosh damn it. Genuine Apathy Instagram. Genuine, was it Genuine
Underscore?
Apathy?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is when that whole editing thing would be great.
I know. This is amazing, though. We're going to get people behind the scenes thing. If you look behind me, my cat's gently sleeping there. You see him? He's right there. See, you don't get to see that stuff. Perfect. Yeah, that was the episode, guys. We'll be seeing you guys next week, episode 24. We're ever closer to our episode 25th, which will be like our 25th anniversary, which I think, what's that like? Is that silver? Is that glass? I don't know when it comes to our wedding anniversaries over here coming up, or our episode anniversaries.
Is that our Gambit episode? Is that our Gambit episode?
Maybe. That's actually a pretty good idea. Maybe our 25th episode might be our Gambit episode. We've been discussing some other things where we can incorporate with our favorite clan, our favorite friendly clan that we love, Last Consensus, and we might do a Gambit match with them. We haven't had a friendly V-clan night in a while, so we'll be talking about it. I'll be bringing you guys some news, maybe next episode. Who knows? Maybe. Well, guys, with that, thank you, Snail, so much. I know you smell tea time. Ness, thank you so much for joining me. With that, guys, we'll be talking to you guys later. And always remember, when in Rome.
When in Rome.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you. Bye-bye.